Hello, everybody. This is your instructor yet again, and it's a couple of hours from Shabbat, which, as one of my rabbis has suggested, is an opportune time to take a pause from doing and to focus on being, which seems to be another way of saying that we've got Chol and we've got Kodesh. And then in the context of creation, creation continues on some level. Obviously, our hearts beat, the plants grow, the sun rises, even during Shabbat. So, what does it mean for us to take that pause? And what are the ways that we sanctify the pause? That we create a sense of kedusha in our lives to give us that opportunity. By the way, just parenthetically, one of the things about Shabbat that's sort of contextually fascinating in terms of the larger cultures among whom Jews have lived. So in the ancient world, the Greeks very much admired the idea of Shabbat because it was a kind of, for them, a way that there was a focus on reflection, on the sort of this notion of a philosophical repose almost. Whereas the Romans, who were the builders and the doers, they perceived Shabbat as a kind of laziness. And they were very dismissive of the notions of Shabbat as a result. So we might ask ourselves, in our culture, how does this notion of doing and being, of doing and resting in the context of theologies of creation affect us? I know certainly for me, I find that the notion of Shabbat as resting from creation is a very powerful countercultural message. And I'm not saying what are the boundaries of that. Everybody who takes Shabbat in some way or other, what do I want to say it seriously? Whether it's going to the beach, whether it's spending time with your family, whatever it is, we can come up with, the halachic definitions and then the more, what do I want to call it? Just grassroots, no pun intended. And there's also the very famous saying that more than that the Jews have preserved Shabbat, Shabbat has preserved the Jews. I'll let you find out who said that, okay? I know, but I'm just keeping a little secret. Anyway, so many things have come up, and in the context of the world that we're living now, with issues around the universe, the earth and humanity and all of the other living creatures being imperiled through the this is what I believe, and science has supported it, through decisions made by human beings over time, that we are in a very imperiled place. And it really makes me think of that second paragraph of the Shema. Maybe you want to go and read it carefully, whether you daven it or not. I'm not going to say that there's a literal interpretation of it. It's just when we think about creation, both in a macro and in a micro way, how does Judaism help to inform the issues of our time? When Yodfat mentioned the issue about creating life, really made me contemplate the issues around pro-choice, reproductive rights, and I'm not taking a political stand here, just giving some thought for us to think about, and the fact that, for example, in Judaism, abortion in certain circumstances is permitted, despite the huge emphasis on, l'chaim, to life. So I wanted to just close today with from page 143 and the way into, because I believe that it's important from what Rabbi Gelman for us. There is one major difference between the scientific and the biblical understandings of creation. The purpose of the biblical answers is not primarily to provide an accurate account of how things came into being in the first place, but rather to provide imaginative visions of what the world and human life mean. They are all concerned with issues of ultimate meaning. They all try to locate the meaning of a human life within the broadest possible canvas. So it's really important for us to think about that. And as he says in the last paragraph of that chapter on page 144, understood this way, the conflict between creationism and evolutionism is not about conclusions, but about assumptions. On this issue, the assumptions are all equally poetic or mythic. God may have created the world out of quarks, but a quark is also an imaginative construct of the human mind. Besides, who created the quark? And so on and so forth. I will also be posting some things related to the teaching of, which is coming up. But for now, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.